What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and this is the SEC Football Channel. In this video, we're going to give you the top 10 players for the Arkansas Razorbacks in 2019, trying to project ahead who will be their best players. And I think with Chad Morris as their head coach, you think about offense, but this Arkansas defense actually has some really talented players that are back this season, and I think they have a chance to be a pretty good team on that side of the ball. I think in a couple of years, you're going to see mostly offense on this list, the way things are headed for this Arkansas team. But again, you're going to see several defensive players on our top 10 list. So we'll start with number 10, and we're actually going to go with a freshman coming in, and that is Trey Knox. He is the number 34 wide receiver recruit in the country, but the reason I picked him is because he's an early enrollee, so he's already on campus. They had some other talented receivers that are not enrolled early, but with him being there early, I think that gives him the best opportunity to contribute right away. Their receivers were not great last year. They didn't get a ton of production with Ben Hicks at quarterback or potentially even Nick Starkel. I think this passing game will take it to another level, and I think Trey Knox has a chance to be one of their top receivers. At number 9, I went with Colton Jackson. He's a 2-year starter on the offensive line. I couldn't really find a lot of information about this Arkansas offensive line, but he could perhaps be a leader for them there. They lost 3 starters from last season, so they're going to need a veteran to step up on that offensive line, and perhaps it will be Colton Jackson. Again, this one was kind of a tough one to figure out, but I just wanted to put someone on the offensive line on this list because I feel like that's going to be a very, very important position for this team in 2019. We have another receiver at number 8, and that is Michael Woods. He was actually the top returning receiver for 2019, even though he only had 206 receiving yards last year, 1 touchdown, only played in 8 games. So that is again the leading returning wide receiver for this Arkansas team is Michael Woods. Not a lot of production last season. I expect that to really go up. Again, I think they're going to be throwing it a lot more this year with the improved quarterback situation and the talent that they've started to get on at receiver and all of that. So I think Michael Woods could be the go-to guy for this Arkansas receiving core. At number 7, we have Jarques McClellion. Last season, 25 tackles, broke up 7 passes, and he has 4.4 type speed. He's probably the fastest guy in the secondary from my research. So, you know, it's always good to have someone that can stay with those speedy receivers, and perhaps he will be that guy at cornerback. They've got, again, some very talented players on defense. I think people might overlook this defense just a little bit, but again, I've got him on this list. And at number 6, we've got the quarterback, Ben Hicks. I do still think that he will be the starting quarterback. Again, earlier today we announced that, or did a video on Nick Starkel making his decision to go to Arkansas, but I think it's going to be Ben Hicks. These are stats from 2017 when he was at SMU with Chad Morris. You see he threw for over 3,500 yards, 33 touchdowns. You put those guys back together, add some weapons at wide receiver, and this offense could be very, very dangerous. I think Ben Hicks will be a leader. He's a veteran quarterback. He's going to know the offense, and I think he's actually going to be one of their best players in 2019. At number 5 is Cheyenne O'Grady, the tight end. We talked about Woods being their leading returning receiver. If you actually go by yardage, it's O'Grady here, but he's a tight end. That's why I said what I said. But he had 400 yards last season, 13.3 yards per catch. That's pretty high for a tight end, and he had 6 touchdowns. So a big-time red zone threat for them. I expect him to really elevate his game and be one of the top pass catchers for this Arkansas team in 2019. Let's continue now with number 4. That is Kamren Curl, a very talented defensive back for this team. 53 tackles. That's a lot of tackles for a defensive back. He broke up 5 passes as well, and is just a veteran leader for this defense at the safety position. So I'm expecting him to probably be that guy again in the secondary to lead this team and just be a veteran presence on this defense. I think he will have a great year, and again, 53 tackles for him last season, pretty solid. Well, let's continue on now to number 3, and that is Rakeem Boyd, the running back, leading returning rusher from last season, 734 yards. He is banged up right now, but I'm expecting him to be fine when the season starts. He averaged 6 yards per carry, had a couple of touchdowns. But again, this was an offense that really struggled last year. Just didn't quite. It's going to take some time with Chad Morris, I think. And I think they do take a big step in 2019. Boyd appears to be that go-to guy. They do have a lot of weapons at running back. So it's not like he's probably going to have 1,500 yards because they're going to share the carries. But just I think he will mean a lot to this offense and be their top guy on offense. A couple more players here, though, and they're on defense. McTelvin Agim, big-time defensive lineman for this Arkansas defense. And number 1 and number 2 were very close for me. He had 45 tackles last season, 10 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. Had an opportunity to maybe go to the NFL. He was one of those guys that you were watching, but he is going to be back. I think he will have a very, very strong season for this Arkansas defense and really be the leader on the defensive line. You now go to the linebacker position, and the leader there will be Dejon Harris. I have him as the number 1 player for this Arkansas team in 2019. Last year he had 56 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and he, I think, will be the quarterback of this defense. I expect him to have a great season and maybe get himself a pretty good draft pick in the NFL for 2020. But again, I think he will be the number 1 player for this Arkansas team, and he will be that leader on this Arkansas defense for 2019. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Who would you move up? Who would you move down? Who would you add to this list that maybe I did not include? Feel free to let me know again down in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports SEC Football Channel.